I think the biggest thing in the world right now is the Russian invasion into Ukraine. I mean, it's completely changed the geopolitics of the world. I mean, a lot of us didn't predict, maybe wrongfully, that Vladimir Putin would actually encroach or actually now invade Ukraine. So whether this is the new Cold War that we had back in the 80s, escalated, or whether this is now the beginning of World War III, only time will tell. I certainly hope not, and cooler heads do prevail. But it completely changes the landscape and requires a refocus in the military, and particularly in the military justice system. In the military that I joined, and the military you joined, and the Marine Corps you joined, we were at war. We were going through OIF 1, OIF 2, and you probably vividly remember the patch charts and the 12-month deployments and the 15-month deployments. And it was a mix of going to NTC and getting ready, then going down range. And we were really focused on training the warfighter and really doing what the nations are doing, the job of the military, which is to fight and win America's wars. Really, after 2010, 2012, kind of into the last decade, that's wound down. And thankfully so, we have not been a country at war. But because of that, the military has really refocused, in my opinion, really going away from the warfighting mission to really a mission of political correctness. And so what we're seeing now, or what we've been seeing, is very minor infractions where you have these extreme consequences and these investigations, and you have outstanding Marines and outstanding soldiers who have one consequence or one run-in with alcohol or an alcohol-related incident, and they get absolutely crushed. It doesn't matter how great of a Marine they are, if they can fight and win America's wars, what their CFT is, or if they're deployable. It matters now is like, oh, let's see if we can burn this Marine or burn this soldier. A perfect example of that is, let's say you have someone in ODA or someone that's in special forces who is well trained. Maybe they're a Russian linguist. Maybe they speak Farsi, and they are incredibly well trained. But back in garrison, they have a problem at a bar, or there's an issue, with some minor infraction. In today's military, at least the way it's been for the last decade, we would do a 15-6 investigation, potentially do a GOMAR, a General Officer Memorandum of Reprimand, and do everything we can, or the military does everything it can to try to separate this soldier or this Marine when they may be their skills are highly needed on the battlefield. And I think we can't have that posture or that mentality if we're going to go into this new era of a new Cold War, or even potentially the beginnings of a global conflict, because we need outstanding Marines, outstanding soldiers. And if there's one incident of an ARI or a bar fight, got it. That may not work in garrison, but that's exactly the type of Marine you're going to want in the battlefield. I think the military justice system is really designed to institute good order and discipline. And so when you're at peacetime and we have a lot of soldiers and Marines in garrison non-deploying or not really training up for these deployments, the commands use these to set examples. And so oftentimes they go high and to the right. Again, the example I always give is you may have this great Marine who would be amazing and do his job incredibly well in a combat environment. Back in garrison, maybe they get into one-to-many bar fights. They're going to make an example out of them. But in doing that, you're going to go high and to the right. You're going to lose a very good Marine. And it really doesn't instill good order and discipline, right? Because that may be the way it's viewed from the leadership, but the Lance Corporals don't view it that way. They view as an NCO or one of their own getting screwed because they put all this time in and they've dedicated really their life at that time to the Marine Corps. They're ready to go into battle and fight, and they make one mistake while drinking or make one mistake at a bar, and now the Marine Corps wants to kick them out. It's very problematic from at least the perspective of a junior Marine who's in that situation. So does it really instill good order and discipline? I don't think it does. I think what it does is instill not fear, but hey, you don't take care of me. And when you tell me to charge that hill, I'm going to charge the hill. But when I'm in garrison, and if a couple civilians got into a fight with me, out of the bar, and I defended myself, now you want to screw me and throw me in the brig and ruin my career? It really doesn't. It really is not cohesive, and I think we really need to get away from that. And while I'm not saying getting into fights or having alcohol-related incidents is proper or the right thing to do, we are too heavy-handed. I think commands are oftentimes too heavy-handed, and they pour these unlimited resources into it. So now a Marine who, again, gets into a fight out at the bar is now facing a general court-martial for aggravated assault with intent to commit bodily harm, and now they're facing 5-10 years in prison. Hey, you've trained me to do this. I was defending myself, and now I've got to potentially be thrown in jail by the same organization I swore to uphold and protect, and I'm willing to, charge the hill or die on the hill for. And so I think that's really problematic. And so we see it even in the Coast Guard. We don't do a lot of Coast Guard cases, but you see that even in the Coast Guard, which is DOT. So yeah, that needs to be a global change, pushed down by senior leadership all the way down. I mean, the Lance Corporal or the specialist isn't making that change. That change needs to be pushed down from the senior civilian leadership down through the general or the admiral leadership.